Hello and welcome, everybody. I am your androgynous android late night DJ, Nathan Blades, and this is the Euphoria AP actual play Twitch channel or YouTube channel, depending on where you're watching this. And we are bringing you a delightful season 2 of our Heartbeats in Perfect Sync campaign. With me, I have only some, but not all, of our wonderful cast who you'll get to meet as we go through episodes. But to just introduce both of them, and then we'll introduce the channel if you're not familiar, please, everybody, welcome to the stage, Ruben.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ruben Ferdinand, they, them pronouns. Today I will be playing Antenor Severe, a new character that I invented specifically for Season 2.
Marvelous. Oh, and to follow the kind of like instructions I've been given, because I've immediately deviated, what do you look like and what are you wearing today?
So true. I am a light-skinned mixed person. I'm wearing glasses. I've got a coif, sort of like brown-red hair. I'm wearing a tank top because it is 30 degrees Celsius. And there's tattoos on my bodies in various ways and forms.
Marvelous. And welcoming our second player for today. Please, everybody, say hi to Chocky.
Hello. Hi. God damn, I'm bad at intros.
Why are you so caught off guard? You knew this was coming. No, in your own time.
I don't know. I don't like being perceived. Yes, hello, I'm Chucky. I also use they, them pronouns. And I'm bringing back Loki, my chaotic 90s, like, person from season 1, although with a few changes. There's been some time. So I'm very excited to see where they're at to now. And I am a light-skinned mixed race person as well, with very long curly hair that is currently purple and yellow, like down the middle. It is very frizzy because of the heat. And I'm wearing a like kind of mottled like owl shirt with lots of colors on it.
Love that.
Yeah.
And if you didn't already know, I, Nathan Blades, he, they pronouns, a black, non-binary mask individual with square blue frames, currently a very 70s afro, a sword earring in my right ear, and a t-shirt with an Alphonse Mucha parody artwork on it, designed, of all people, by my dad.
What?
That's so cool.
And also, if you didn't know, Euphoria is a community to spotlight diverse tabletop RPG creatives here locally in Europe and outside of the US. You can support Euphoria and watch all the other fabulous things the channel does by following all of the socials that you will be seeing on your screen, both below and in the description in the chat. Doobly do everywhere. Please follow us. We are fabulous to follow. With that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about Heartbeats in Perfect Sync, the campaign we're going to be playing, the system we're going to be playing today. Now, if you didn't watch the first season, that's perfectly okay. We've designed this to work as a little bit of a standalone. This isn't like comic books where you need to kind of follow 3 different separate strands of things that have been running for years to get it.
But also watch it.
Yes, indeed.
You mean we don't need to have seen Heartbeat's Endgame first? Like...
Well, you did need to watch the direct to streaming kind of like a 3-episode animated movie, and also play the online ARG. I would describe Heartbeats in Perfect Sync as a love letter to all of the various video games and anime that involves a twink with 2 swords running up the side of a skyscraper to slap the physical embodiment of depression in the face. It's about big weapons, big feelings, and doing what needs to be done to protect the people you care about and the city you live in, which remains perpetually and increasingly relevant. In it are players, are all people who have a connection to their local city, who have the ability to fight the pulse, capital P, which is a physical manifestation of strong emotions, often negative, but not always. To do this, they can pull gigantic over-the-top weapons out of their phones to be able to fight them, and use their hot-blooded passion to be able to achieve feats not considered possible. However, in this game, if you get too emotional or lose your fighting spirit, there can be a dark transformation. But we'll encounter that as we encounter it. So we are, we're going to also talk a little bit about our setting for this. We're going to be setting this campaign as per last season in real world London by degrees. There's going to be some specific things about it that are slightly different. This is maybe to cover my own booty. So if there are particular instances of me talking about London and you go, hey, that's not true, that's not accurate, it's fantasy London and you can leave me alone. Chucky, you are very familiar with London. What do you love and what do you hate about London?
I think what I love about London the most is like the culture. Like I think I really enjoy being somewhere where like you can walk around a corner and there's like a like Indian like takeaway place right next to like a Turkish barber's. Like there is every culture is represented somewhere, and like especially as a non-white person, I think it's a place that I feel very at home because like there is no questioning where you're from in London. No one cares because everyone's from everywhere. Tons of things I don't like. I don't like how much everything costs. I was there yesterday and I spent way too much money.
Absolutely, I agree. I definitely agree with both of those things. While I've been asked where I'm from in many places and at many points in my life, it has never been in London. Hey, Ruben, you've visited London recently. Love and hate may be more of a little too strong of a feeling for an initial visit. But what do you like and what do you dislike about London?
No, I absolutely love that food corridor we went to.
In Camden.
In Camden, just building off like there's every culture represented there. Just like the crowd of people, of hungry people getting served out of booths, just like being handed like free samples. And then people who take those samples and then keep walking as the guy yells after them like, no, that's not how it's supposed to go.
You're supposed to buy something now. What? Yes,
you're supposed to stand in line now and pay 15 big ones for the delicious meal, which is what I did. I know the rules, so I really like that. Camden in general was a very, very fun maze of just like various activities and just like new sights.
And what you're allowed to, even though I'm from London, I'm not going to be mad at you. What do you not like about London? What's a bugbear you have with it?
Stinks.
Yeah.
Smelly place.
Wait, what part of London are you guys in?
Chucky, truly. Now that I no longer live there, whenever I come in, the general palpable change in air quality is so stark.
I mean, I guess like I live in like the countryside, but I also live in the area where like they muck the fields every couple months and the entire place smells of manure, so maybe I'm just desensitized.
I used to live there in a place like that in the Netherlands, and even then London is was a little stinky, but
yes. Even though I know
traveler's opinion.
It is an understood and heard. You're not the first person to mention, but it still remains somewhere close to my heart. I set our first season on the South Bank. This is my favorite place in London to visit. I try and go every time I'm there. But this time, we're visiting a new place in central London that I think has its own fascinating history. It's very mysterious, and we're going to be definitely making it even more mysterious. With that, let's settle into things, shall we? Settle into our session for today. We see in a very parodic equivalent of the EastEnders aerial shot of central London. You can see the Thames winding through it. You can see the currently O2 Arena. I miss when it was the Millennium Dome. I'm old. As we move in and we get both the bustle of the traffic and the humming of people, and also a bit of cranking and fiddling of static as some of the well off camera as messing with an FM radio. And eventually they settle into a pirate station. Hey, good afternoon, people of London. It's your DJ, the well, you already know. You mostly know me as the masked one. Yeah, you can't see my face, but you know I got a look to maintain. And for those of you watching on TikTok Live, you already know what I look like. But I'm here to bring you the afternoon London news for people who really are in the know, driving back from school or work or just lounging in that estate. What's going on in your neck of the woods? After all, things have been changing a little bit recently. Only last month there was a little bit of a scare. It's out of the news cycle now. The whole kind of metaphysical rumor mill has stopped talking about that underground train that just appeared in Soho Square a while ago. Some mysterious people who moved out of it appeared on camera, refused to do interviews, all of them incredibly rude. But things have moved on now that TFL have managed to somehow remove that entire train away. And, after the interesting movies that were shown at the BFI cinema on the South Bank, apparently a very hypnotizing performance, and apparently got a little bit rowdy. And, usually that kind of upper class tend to just politely applaud after they see a film that they barely understand, but this time they got a little bit funky with it, I understand. But they also settled down, and the cops didn't even need to get involved. So things are looking pretty sweet. In fact, I suppose we just need to return to our daily activities, and if you're anything like me, you know that the daily activities are going to be some of the most interesting and fascinating and probably downright filthy things you can imagine. I'm sure those of you who are listening right now are also getting up to your own. There's a pause as he thinks of the right word. Special interests. And so we do continue to move further in, down through a steaming kind of like a steaming grate in the road near Tottenham Court Road, and down into the underground network. We see tunnels and pipes and hissing and movement in the shadows. And just as we are about to move into a part of a railway, the train comes through, perfectly timed as the camera lands inside of it, sitting in this very enclosed space, rapidly moving through the city. We see an individual with a very particular sense of fashion. The 90s never ended, maybe even a particular misremembering of 90s fashion captured in a much more vibrant and elaborate way than what was really the truth. But what we choose to remember deep in our hearts is how we actually dressed. Loki, tell us about yourself and what you're up to today now that you're on the tube into town.
Yeah, so Loki is like currently in the middle of a new project. They recently have kind of given up their job working in Blockbuster selling other people's creations, and they're on a quest to make their own. They want to create something that maybe could be shown and cause a load of people to have their own hypnotic crisis at the BFI rather than someone else's creation.
Mm-hmm.
So they're currently with a bag full of film equipment and things ready to just see what they can find. They're trying to find an interesting location where they can start finding inspiration for their next creation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And strangely enough, usually when you kind of take a trip into town for work, and that is at a very different time to when you're traveling today in the early morning, there is usually one other person that likes to ride the carriage at the same time as you. You've never spoken, but weirdly enough, even though it is this humid, steaming middle of the day, this tall figure sits comfortably across from you, legs crossed, reading a very small book. through tiny pince-nez glasses on the end of his nose. He is definitely in the tradition of the Congolese sappeurs, in a full bright suit patterned in kind of like African wax print fabric. You can tell it is custom made and custom tailored to fit his proportions exactly. His long graying locks are kind of neatly tied, held with a barrette at the back, and a flat cap sat jauntily upon his head, also in a very kind of like orange and blue kind of check pattern, the kind you'd expect to see on like golfing trousers. He has many lots of different types of jewelry embedded in his right ear, different cuffs, different studs, clearly all done at various different times in his life, and is showing no signs of slowing down. And a very kind of like slightly pinched expression as he is focusing on the small book that he is reading. He seems to have a kind of custom dust jacket on it, so the front of the book is unreadable. He glances both over the book and over his pince-nez glasses at the figure opposite. And for the first time in all the number of times you have seen him, Loki, he speaks to you. Don't normally see you traveling on this kind of day.
Yeah, I'm trying something new. You don't normally acknowledge me either.
Hasn't, even though I don't normally verbally acknowledge, I think both of our presences are easy to sense. And he, like, without moving his hands, he kind of like wiggles his eyebrows, and you could feel the implication of a gesture to both yours and his outfit. I do respect people who have a sartorial vision.
Well, I don't know if you'd call mine sartorial, but yours is certainly quite eclectic, I will say. Where do you even find an outfit like that?
Great pieces are not found, they are forged.
And are you the one who does the forging?
Well, in my cohort of people who share my interest in fashion, there is somebody who's an excellent blacksmith of daily armor.
I might have to drill you for some more details on them at some point. It's quite hard to find these sorts of outfits nowadays.
And there's a pause as while this man has noticed you in previous instances, this is the first time that you feel that he is assessing you. I would like you to go and make a roll for me, please.
Okay.
So, in Heartbeats in Perfect Sync, there is no health in this game. We have something called a heart rate. It is a scale from 1 through 10, normally, and every session starts at 5. As you are in the middle of the road of your temperament, whenever the outcome of something is uncertain, we roll d6, six-sided dice, equal to our heart rate, looking for 5s and 6s. The more 5s and 6s we get, our hits is the success rate of trying to do something. I, as the GM, should remember to, I don't always, so do call me up on it if I forget, state what the target number of hits you're looking for. In this instance, it's not too severe. This is just to kind of keep your emotions in check, not have him lead the conversation. You're looking for 1 hit on these 5s and 6s.
Okay, watch my luck still mess this up. Oh, I got 2 hits. Okay.
Perfect. You feel him assess you, and instead of it being an instance where, like, you get a good look in his eyes, and they are you can feel the years that they've lived. They are a deep brown, but there's also almost like a fleck of green in it. It's hard to kind of place the exact color. He's an older man, so you'd figure his eyes were smaller, but they feel widened deep as you look into it, and you are not drawn in. You manage to instead kind of hold your ground emotionally in this conversation as you are being assessed. So, as you succeeded your roll, you get to choose whether your heart rate goes up, down, or stays the same. So decide that by one, and then also tell me how you feel and how you respond to being assessed.
I'm gonna go up by 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Loki is probably quite used to having people try to like understand what they are. They're not used to the person doing it being this like intriguing themselves though. So I think like probably like still a little taken aback, like but trying to like keep their cool and like appear like they're not like way more excited about the fact that this person is actually talking to them than they are, because internally I think they're probably like jumping up and down quite like excited that like, wait, I've been noticed.
All right. I think I can entrust this with you. He slips a hand inside the breast pocket of his suit coat and pulls out a business card and proffers it across the carriage to you. Since you're sitting on opposite sides, it feels almost like broaching a river as the hand extends towards you. Do you take the business card?
Yes.
It's a simple affair, but cleanly made. The person who put it together seems to have an eye for graphic design. It says Hephaestus Tailoring. It seems to be a private business within the Barbican estate, which is for those. Well, we'll see what the Barbican estate is like when we eventually visit there. But it seems to be a business that's within the estate, not external, which is uncommon. There are a handful of very well-known buildings within the Barbican, the theatre, its library. But private businesses are unusual. If you feel like, I don't know, being interested in being involved in this little group, go and give Hephaestus a line. I think he would be interested in speaking to you.
Well, I'm always intrigued to meet new people.
And there's a pause. The next station is back. The next station is back. The doors will open on the right-hand side. As this figure gets up and tilts his flat cap imperceptibly at you and steps off the train. Meanwhile, elsewhere within the city, we do not see where as the camera continues to move, it moves through rock and steel and concrete as it moves underneath a building and starts to rise. We see multiple different flats, the interiors, all quite well kept, some a little shabby with age. This seems to be a building with age, with history. And we arrive on a floor that is dark. But while sunlight was streaming through some of the other windows we've seen, it seems that the curtains are down, or maybe there is something blocking them, as there is a figure working quite furiously at a desk, looking quite unsatisfied with progress so far. Ruben, could you tell me a little bit about Antenor Severe?
Antenor Severe is a 40-year-old butch-looking woman who never takes off a treasure chest-sized coffer off of her back. She continuously is swapping out materials, instruments into like compartments, into nooks, into crannies of this coffer, never actually opening it or taking it off her chest. Her desk is filled, scattered with various kinds of needles, glues, heating implements, even weaving machines. And she is a textile sculptor, meaning that she is using fabrics as a base sculpting material. If you've ever seen an exhibition by, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Haegwe Young, a Korean contemporary artist, kind of in that sphere, way more malleable, yet firm.
And what you're currently working on has been, I think, your, should we say, thesis statement for the last month or so.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going. What is the project, and why is it not clicking right now?
So the project is called Tesseract Mood, semicolon, Hard Evening with You There. Why it's not clicking is because she has not had a genuine human connection in about 23 years.
You have an academic knowledge of all of this. You're somebody who, not to project a thing upon your character, and you can yes and no but me if I'm off-piste. You're somebody who likes to do your research when you embark on a new project. And so you've headed to the local library. You've rented many videos. You've placed mail orders for a number of cassette tapes, which is quite difficult and quite expensive considering the majority of people who are the purveyors of cassettes these days are vaporwave musicians on Bandcamp. But you've done your research. You understand what human connection is in a way that everyone should understand. But when it tries to put that thought into your head, channeled through your hands by electrical impulse into this 3D sculpted canvas, there is some disconnect there. There is some unreality that is preventing this from happening, and it is eating you. You should go take a break.
There's a reluctant move away from the desk, so like sliding backwards. The view of this apartment, I think there's these spider webbing like canvases dragging and sort of like tarping over various surfaces, like a neat freak's obsession with plastic on furniture. Everything is sort of like covered in this chainmail like fabric textile material. The only thing that isn't covered immediately is a TV set with VHS recorder and play system. And I think there is a single finger raising like a blind, a shot of sunlight entering her vision, and there's almost like a comic sizzle of like, closes the blind again, heads to the TV, and pops in a self-help tape, which she does every time she has a art block. And I can name the self-help tape if you want.
Yeah, what is, of the collection, what is the self-help tape that you've chosen to use for your break?
This one's called, and I got a little book here, Larynx Coachella's Psychological Endurance Training to Beat Depression, Anxiety, and to Embrace Your Bikini Body.
Right, okay. And this is a new one. After you'd kind of worn through a lot of the kind of obvious ones, we've moved into places that are a bit more experimental. There's been online mail orders involved. And you got the first half an hour through, and then you decided that your break was over, so you haven't really gotten to the meat of this one yet. It turns out that the sorry, could you give the name of the person again?
Of course, Larynx like the thing in your throat.
Yep.
Coachella, like the place where people.
Yep, no, Larynx Coachella. Larynx Coachella's blonde hair and wide smiling face and ruby red lipstick does suggest that a degree of immersion therapy is required to understand your true self, to bring out the bikini body from within, and understanding her target audience for this kind of videotape. The lack of localized bikini bodies available, she is more than happy to provide. What then follows is an absolute sensory nightmare of just the idea of a TikTok fan cam recorded to VHS of just finely chopped and sliced like Baywatch, Ms. Universe kind of like footage from the 80s, and her own directly filmed content on top of an absolutely skull crushing EDM. I would love for you to go and roll your heart rate to resist to get 2 hits of success, to not be absolutely mind bended by this video.
Perfect. And we all start with 5, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go. Ooh, I got 4 hits.
Okay. Well, when you beat a target number of hits by 2 or more, it is called an exceed, which is essentially a critical success. Under circumstances like that, if there were other people in the scene with you, you would be able to go and change their heart rates as well as your own, in addition to kind of describing how you succeed in this critical success. Unfortunately for Antonin, you are currently, the way you like to be, very much alone. Still, you do get to describe to me how Antonov feels with a critical success off the back of watching this video, and change your own heart rate up, down, or keeping it the same.
I think there's a distinct connection between psychological endurance and the idea of pursuing a physicality.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get to a point, you have the Sisyphean progress of discipline, work, recontemplation, evaluation, doing it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And for this project, there's only been the academic culmination of long years of study, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's been passionate, she's been heated, and I think watching the half-second cuts of someone explaining, this is the best way to push your own feelings down, and then like a Baywatch montage, like those split seconds, her heart rate goes down. She looks to her work desk, which has like the concept of Tesseract mood on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a outstretched arm that sort of like is somehow seemingly floating in air,
Mm-hmm.
but is sort of like anchored with like the smallest of threads you can really see. And
indeed, to add into that, despite your frustrations, maybe it's because you've not had the opportunity to have other people witness your art in a while, Antonov Severe is an incredibly good sculptor. The actual technical ability for you to render the impossible within 3D space comes to you surprisingly easily, but at least from your current perspective, the things that you're making feel meaningless, but they look impossible.
She walks over to the outstretched hand, clasps it, and like I'm doing with a cat right now, tosses it to the side. No, I didn't toss her. Didn't toss her. But she does sort of like yank it.
Mm-hmm. It being made of fabric does not shatter upon impact with the wall, but crumples and slides down very softly. Your phone goes off.
Can I see who it is?
Absolutely. Noting that, because also above table, the way that this game works, like narratively and the connection of your phones, it is a smartphone, but it might not necessarily be a modern or well looked after one. What type of phone is it?
It's a knockoff brand that used to exist 5 to 7 years ago and has discontinued, and then the first one in that production line.
Gotcha. It's cracked. You can put like 3 different sims in it. It's all very wonderful. It is a message from one of your neighbors. You've gotten a message from Janice Waits.
Janice Waits.
And it's typed in full clean English. It's not abbreviated. It's capitalized and full stopped, which I think gives a suggestion of Janice's age. Not that you've ever directly seen her. Feeling under the weather. I could do with some grocery shopping. I can wire you the money if you could get me some.
Immediately, there's like a bucket list of internal complaints that Answer has about Janice Waits, but feels sort of like the chill of an artist's dissatisfaction, and decides actually time to put theory into practice and do grocery shopping once. And I think she replies, sure, what do you need?
The camera does not necessarily see the list, but we get the audio of the ping as it appears on your phone, and you kind of glance it and see what's there, and you prepare to journey into the too bright, too noisy, slightly too smelly world of the outside to go and obtain some everyday groceries.
Oh, it's a struggle. Oh, no, I have this. No, yeah, I got this. Okay. Opening her eyes into the zone, into the street.
Yeah, we see the front. We see like a side shot as Antonor, backpack already filled with items, but still with room for groceries, leaves her apartment and the door closes. As that kind of puts the camera vision into darkness, we fade up to another location in London, outdoors, as Loki is working on starting to see if they can find some shots to even if it's B-roll, something, anything. There's got to be a vibe out in these streets. Where are you currently gathering your first bits of footage of the day?
So, especially, my brain's going like, I gotta work out where I am on the tube if I was at bank. So we'll say we're going Central Line into the center of London. So probably around like, I really like Tottenham Court Road and like Chinatown and that kind of area. So I think probably wandering the streets of Soho at the moment, like going up to Seven Dials. Beautiful bit of London. If you haven't been to Seven Dials, you're missing out.
When I was a child, I was intimidated to go to Seven Dials as a teenager because everybody there dressed too cool.
But now you get to be the person who's dressed.
Yes, to be honest, I think the average quality of fashion in that era has tragically declined. As beautiful as the place is, they need to step their game up. And I think that's ticking away in Loki's head. Loki remembers the 90s and the early 2000s where the fashion trends in Seven Dials were capital W wild. They were really pushing it. And absolutely, there should be that today as well. You might even get an interview out of
it. Yeah. But yeah, so they'd be kind of walking into Chinatown, like specifically that bit of Chinatown, like right where it meets Soho. So there's like pride flags between all of the
I know the bar
banners and everything. Yeah. Like kind of exploring the streets, I think, getting like I think footage of just like all the people and the atmosphere, just kind of soaking in the vibe of that part of London. Because I think especially as like someone who has fought the Pulse before, like they are very like into that like idea of like the energy of this part of the city. I think that there's a really good energy here at the moment, and that's what they're trying to like almost capture on film, I think.
If the lifeblood of the city is its people, the way it runs through the veins of the city, through its streets, is high pressure and quick within London. The idea of stopping mid-motion on a busy road is unthinkable. People need to get to a destination. And if you are somehow not knowing where your destination is, then clearly you are not from here. However, once you manage to move off onto these tributaries, into these areas with the outdoor cafes, with the kind of food stands outside, these are the socially designated bubbles where it is okay to stand. There is still almost an imperceptible force field around people and groups of people. This is an area to relax, but it is an area to relax with the people you know. And especially, again, Loki, as somebody who's interacted with the Pulse before, you almost have the sixth sense of this kind of electrical field that people tend to generate emotionally, that has managed to envelop their social group and go no further. And there are these bubbles of people that exist in this space here, as you're looking to see if you can kind of get the energy you need for this footage, but also not be in a way where you are perceived by the people there and therefore rebuffed. What approach would you like to take for that? And would you like to roll some dice about it?
Sure. Yeah, so I think like just thinking about how I'd probably challenge that task in that part of London, especially with all the movement. Like, yeah, you can't really stand in the streets. I think like maybe they would duck into like a smaller kind of restaurant, like, and almost be like trying to like snipe shots out the window, like of the vibe of places. Like at first they'd be getting that B-roll of just walking through the street and like looking up at like the Chinese lanterns and the Tory gates and all of that. But then yeah, it would kind of like, I think the only way that they'd be able to stay in that area is to effectively like duck in somewhere and be somewhere where they are paying to be there, because that's the only way you can get away with it.
Does Wong K's still exist in that part of Chinatown? As I recall from my teenagerdom, a really, really kind of like popular restaurant, Chinese restaurant with teenagers, in that they had many, many tables across multiple floors, and it was very cheap. But the turnover was so high, they really rushed you through your meal and could be quite direct, if not rude, if they felt you were overstaying your welcome. You managed to kind of sit, if not in that restaurant, if it doesn't exist anymore, the spiritual sequel. And you are balancing between working through your 3 courses while trying to kind of maintain looking through the kind of ground floor window to the street to get your shot. This requires a little bit of balancing. I think this is going to be a 2-hit check for you to do. Your heart rate now 6 as you've elevated it. Roll 66 for
it. That is 2 hits exactly.
It is weirdly enough, you start to shoot the footage. You start to kind of, and you mention to your waiter that you're going to be doing some filming, and you're not going to be kind of filming the guests, but you're going to be seeing the kind of window and external. And there's a very kind of, fine. As
an ex-film student, I can like imagine the look and everything.
There is a conversation that you don't catch to another member of the staff about this, and then you start to see that the path that the kind of servers take is now out of this line of sight. But as you continue to kind of get shots of life outside, and it is busy and it is intense, but it is also joyful and vibrant, and not just in a superficial way of the place being brightly colored and lacquered, but also just vibrant, the energy of the people in it. And there's a seed of frustration in you because all of this is entirely pedestrian footage. It's fine. It's clean. It's what you could use it. But what does it say? What does it mean? What does it mean to you? And we get like a match cut of Antonor at a very nondescript like mini supermarket, like looking over some cucumbers and thinking about her existing project. But what does it mean? It doesn't connect. It's fine. And both of you see a movement out of just the peripheral vision of you. It's low, it's small. Antonor, you think like maybe a dog off its leash just kind of rushed past you, maybe?
Okay.
And you glance and you see a trail of something brightly colored, like a ribbon, move round an aisle and out of view. So it was maybe just a leash or something. Loki, you see a group of people standing outside one of the street vendors, waiting to pay for a meal. One of them, despite the kind of like quite humid, clinging day that it is today, one of them is actually wearing a scarf, kind of like like a longer silk maybe scarf, worn across the shoulders and down, relatively long. The kind that you could tie into an ascot, but is kind of being worn open. Maybe they did wear it as an ascot, and it kind of proved too warm to do that. So this is now the equivalent. And you see a small, well, not small, quite large, I think, white gloved hand appear from the bottom of the kind of viewfinder frame, grab the end of the silk scarf, and just pull it away.
Does anyone else react to this?
No. It was so quick, like a magician pulling a tablecloth and leaving all of the candelabra and stacks of plates perfectly still. It was a swift movement.
But like, so even the person who was wearing it hasn't
Did
noticed
not
yet.
notice.
Okay. Ooh. Feel like Loki's gonna be a bit concerned. This is not a normal sight, I think is fair to say. So I think they'd probably be like rushing to finish their meal and also like like going back through the footage to try and like see if there's any more information in there, like see if they can zoom in.
You do. So as you're kind of going through the fried rice with one hand and like thumbing through the camera on the other, you pause frame on the hand as you see it and zoom in. So it's risen from the bottom of frame, so it's definitely not an adult. Maybe a child, but the hand is too large to be a child. It's maybe even slightly too large to be an adult's hand. It's almost comical in the way that it's shaped, like a cartoon character's hand. And is it knitted?
Huh. Okay. Yeah, they're gonna really like be trying to just like finish this meal now because they need to get out there and investigate. So they're like trying to like flag down a waiter and like pay up and settle up and like can they still see that group of people?
Yes, they're still there. Having I think at this point they've managed to go and get their Korean dogs, the kind that you can have like the stretchy like mozzarella cheese inside. Now they've finished gathering all of that, and are kind of, comparing each other's wretched flavor combinations. As one of them wanted the sweet potato crust with the marshmallows and the hot honey sauce on top.
Okay, yeah. So Loki's gonna I guess venture out, and I think the whole time they'd still be they'd have the camera out. They're trying to get get that view. They're trying to watch for any more signs of this now, because now they know that there's something they want to see if they can get more of that. Because even if it doesn't make good footage for the film, I think they're a curious enough person. They want to know what's going on now.
Yeah, as you're scoping, and I think I remember the way that this goes correctly. Your phone goes off. That particular kind of vibration and ringtone. You know who's messaging you. It's not your mates. It's not a notification of a missed delivery. It's the city. The city is trying to speak to you with information.
Flip open that flip phone and have a look, just kind of with a bit of a sigh, what this time?
Delivered in the message, it's in text speak, and we see on camera it being written in text speak and a narration voice in clear English over the top to kind of interpret it for people who were not around at the time to kind of process the contractions. Oh my god, babes, did you know there's local pulse in your area? Shocked face. Seems they're stealing, but not gems or whatever, but I don't know, cloves maybe?
Hot pulse in your area.
Jesus. That's
Click here. Monsters of the week in my neighborhood.
Enlarge your heartbeat with one simple trick.
Doctors hate him.
We kill Chalky.
They're gone. Me too far. Oh my god. Just the idea of the city itself being hot pulse in your area.
You know what? Excellent. We can move scene because I like keeping up the pace here.
Yeah.
Antinor,
you laugh for a while.
You return from groceries. Barely an encumbrance to you. You've carried heavier. And there is a neat parcel outside of your door.
Right. It wouldn't have occurred to me to chase the leash, right?
I would say that it feels like it, unless chasing down dogs who have fallen off their leash is a particular bugbear for you. No, fair enough. Yeah, you make your way back home, and there is a neatly wrapped a parcel. It's nicer than an Amazon courier, like an Amazon cardboard. It seems like a handmade cardboard box. Actually, it's quite familiar to you, this style.
Yeah, no, I if it's familiar, I just pick it up and put it under an arm. But where do I recognize it from?
Marked with the brand Asbestos Fabrics.
Asbestos, my good friend Asbestos Fabrics.
You don't remember when you started your monthly subscription of textiles fresh and hot to your door, but they seem to have kept delivering them, and the pieces seem to keep being interesting. So you've not cancelled the subscription, and in fact, you don't really quite remember who you'd need to talk to or what process you'd need to go through to get it cancelled, but it's fine. You make your way in because, well, trying to carry all this and the groceries would be a bit of a pain. And even though where you live is quite secure, and the fact that the courier is clearly comfortable enough to leave parcels on your doorstep when you're not in, which in most places of London is a very bad idea. But for where you currently are, the risk of that seems to be quite low. You bring it in, and with a box cutter, maybe even a very sharp knitting needle, you kind of like break the seal on it, unwrap the ribbon, and open inside. And it seems that today they've delivered you a reasonably nice silk scarf, pashmina.
Yeah, no. I take it out. I sort of like feel the materials. Sort of like a JoJo thing where I just like bring it close to my face and lick it. I was like, yes, this is good quality.
As you hold it to your face, it's warm.
Oh,
Like it was worn not that long ago.
huh. I yeah, no, that stands out to me.
In fact, there's a quite it has a very cedar oh gosh. Would you know that in real life I've been looking into like fragrance stuff recently, so some of this has been sitting in my head, but for some reason right now trying to think, okay, masculine fragrances, 0 entries found, which I think says a lot about me.
Motor oil.
Cedar, any kind of woods.
It's got like a low tobacco note in it, and kind of like
Jesus.
a high kind of it's got a tobacco heart note. It's sitting like a cedarish middle with a light pine and lime kind of top notes
Okay.
on. Not lime, bergamot. Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Yeah, no, this is like maybe a reasonably expensive masculine cologne that you can faintly smell. Maybe it was secondhand.
Okay. I think I just kind of like put it back in the box, and I remember Janice Waits, and I think going out of the apartment, I want to take it with me, just like hold it onto me because I want to see if it's cooling down. Like there's like a not so much like a suspicion, but like an enthusiasm of like, oh, they managed to make or invent a fabric that stays warm, that conducts temperature. So it doesn't think to just like unwrap it from her hand and goes to 5e.
Yeah, as you step outside, and it's not too difficult to get to Janice's kind of apartment door. You have to walk down a couple of hallways, but you know the way. And well, you stop feeling the latent heat of the scarf as it becomes room temperature and then your own.
I put it into the suitcase.
And you get to 5e, and you knock on the door. Is that you, Antona?
Yes, I've put the groceries down. Turning around, you can get them.
Oh, thank you. And the camera moves alongside you to put the door out of frame as we hear it unlatch 3 times, unlock, door open, the shuffling of something being removed, like the crinkling of carrier bag, and a close again, and again the lock, and 3 chains and bolts go back into place. Thanks. I really don't know if I would have made it myself today, so you've done me a real help.
Oh yeah, of course, I understand. Hey, sort of like thinking back to anything in a self-help tape. Do you own clothes? Sorry, I mean, do you have clothes and are interested in more?
Sure. Okay. This isn't the role yet. I think this conversation has a role with it. It's made easier by the fact that you clearly have history, but so she's used to this line of conversation. I have been known, yes, to wear clothes as per general society and my own desire for warmth permits. Despite the kind of like frailty in her voice and mild stuttering, you can tell she's maybe smiling. She's being sassy.
Hmm. Okay, yeah. That came out wrong. Mentally strikes the self-help tape that came from. I got a scarf. I don't think I can use it. Do you want a scarf?
Oh, well, my allergies, you know, is it made from? And I don't think I'm going to bother doing it in character, but you get a mini list of about 6 or 7 materials that are no-goes.
Yes, Janice, it is at least one of them.
And well, I'm also I can smell it through the door. Is that cedar?
Oh God. Yes, it's cedar. I'll put it away.
But I mean, you can hear the kind of like tenting fingers together on the other side of the door, just spiritually.
Uh,
I mean, I really appreciate you gifting me something. The fact that you're willing to do shopping for me is already a massive help. So,
yeah, no problem. Do you think you could back me up in the complaint process against 56B?
oh,
They've they've been their dog is tippling around, and I don't appreciate that.
making a note. Sorry for the record.
Hmm.
56B's lost dog, assumedly. Oh, well, it is a bit of a yapper. I can even hear it all the way over here sometimes on a quiet evening. But like, um, yeah, if it's around, I'll help file a complaint. You know, usually if 3 people talk about the same thing, it's handled in like 24 hours. And the organizers are very nice and do send somebody up with a formal fountain pen and paper so I can write the complaint and they can deliver it.
I know. I know that the communal hall is either too hot or too cold for you, so
Mhm.
we can do it the usual way. Yeah.
But yeah, how is how there's a pause as she's considering the best way to ask this in a way that wouldn't upset you. How's work going?
Good night,
Oh,
Janice.
uh, thank you. Good afternoon. Have a good rest of your day.
You hear it stomping off back to her own apartment.
Hmm. Meanwhile, uh, Loki. You've managed to catch glimpses of these what you previously were was addressing as minor pulse and have now relocated to absolute fuckers as you are chasing these things through the streets. You only manage to catch glimpses of them, but every time you see a new detail, it's like, what? They seem to be kind of like large, maybe gnome hats, like a garden gnome but knitted in a kind of chunky fabric. And what emerges from underneath it is maybe like 2 gigantic cartoon glove hands, 2 large, like mid to light brown, kind of almost brogue shoes, like a Mr. Man, and a large bulbous nose. And that's it. And as you are chasing them through the streets and they are passing by groups of people, and effortlessly on the way, they be snatching. They are taking jackets. They are taking they're taking shawls, any fabric that they are able to just whisk away in a clean movement goes under the hat and they are onto the next.
No, they're efficient. Okay. Um, so I think this is where I'm gonna maybe use one of my abilities,
Mhm.
because I think I'm gonna need a bit of help to deal with trying to capture these things.
Mhm.
I think Loki is starting to be like, this is definitely not just minor pulse. This is an unusual surge in activity. Um, and as the only one here, I need to do something about it. Uh, luckily for me, I am nothing without my stunt team. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm going to use the ability to somehow always inexplicably have their stunt double nearby. Um,
Absolutely. In Heartbeats in Perfect Sync, your character sheet is a sentence that contains multiple aspect tags that you can invoke to gain bonuses on specific roles. You can invoke one tag per session, and each will give 2 additional dice to a given role. So, for example, Loki's character sentence Loki is an indie filmmaker who summons a sick skateboard and fights Pulse with rad kickflips, a big bag of 90s ephemera, and my faithful stunt double. So, invoking the tag of my faithful stunt double, you pop open the phone. We see you as you're running, flip open the phone and have a conversation as there is a picture in picture to a entirely separate person who looks like startlingly like Loki, maybe at a distance with a little bit of makeup and contouring so the face would match, having a smoke break somewhere.
yeah, and there's like, hi, are you near Tottenham Court Road? Because there's something going on. I could do with some help.
Oh, we have a gig, boss.
Something like that. Um,
That's their voice. Okay.
Mm. Well, sure thing, boss. You have the location on your phone. I'll be right with you. And it sounds like you're running, so I guess I'd better be
yeah,
running too.
well, I mean, I'm probably going to be skateboarding in a second, but we're trying. It's gnomes, I think.
A palpable pause. I'll also bring my skateboard. See you in a moment.
Perfect.
Click. And yes, as we get to, I think maybe you're running down from Euston towards Tottenham Court Road Station, down that long length. It's one long straight, so you figure you have the ability to try and catch up. And the traffic is surprisingly light for that particular road, so you can kind of get on the main and get going. And you can, as you don't skate and look at your phone. It's dangerous, kids. Don't do it. But you can kind of see that your stunt double is kind of approaching from the other end in a kind of pincer attack formation to try and grab whatever it is that you're chasing down. This is going to be, I think, a 2-hit check. If you'd actually like to get it in your hands, it's a 3-hit check.
Okay.
Which would you prefer?
Considering I have the stunt double help, I'm gonna go with hands.
Okay.
I'm
3-hit check.
feeling it.
And
Yep.
you'll be rolling your heart rate, adding 2 dice because you have invoked one of your aspects.
Yes. Oh, and because we forgot to say before on the last check, I was gonna raise it again, so I'm at
Sure thing.
7 now.
Ooh, okay.
Trying to make use of having a high heart rate max. So
you've been around the block before. You've leveled up a little bit in session 1.
Yeah. So let's see.
This is Loki opening up their flip phone and going, "It's gnomes."
Dang, I'm actually quite lucky today. That is exactly 3 hits again.
Okay, yes.
Everything else was like a 1.
Okay, so
there
is a mechanic around ones. In scenes where there are multiple people in the scene, while when you succeed, you get to change your own heart rate and so on and so forth. If there are other people in the scene and you roll ones, I get to change other people's heart rate in the scene by 1 per ones rolled. So in an instance where you're doing something really big and you roll a lot of ones as consequence and there are other people in the scene with you, then they're also kind of swept up emotionally in your shenanigans. In this instance, though, your stunt double does not have a heart rate, at least as far as you know.
Yes.
So, describe to me the scene that occurs as your stunt double acts in excellent rehearsed pincer formation to help you grab your target.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, Loki is gonna be like kind of running and hopping onto the board as they're going along, and I think trying to like weave between the cars a bit. Like they don't want the gnomes to know exactly what direction they're going in because that'll make it easier for them to avoid them.
Mhm.
And then at the point where they can see the stunt double kind of coming the other way, they're gonna kind of like make eye contact and have that like knowing nod of like, don't let them know that that one's also after them.
Mhm.
So the stunt double's kind of like nonchalantly skating along in the opposite direction, trying to
Mhm.
play it cool, as Loki is gonna kind of like grind up on the curb on that side to try and direct them to run across the road to the
Mhm.
side where the stunt double is coming the other way, who will then just kind of like scoop them up
Yeah, yeah,
as they
yeah,
go
yeah,
past.
yeah. The gnome, in realizing that they've been had, jumps in surprise with a flail of hands and flail of boots you still don't really see under the hat at any point, and tries to make a break for it, but you manage to swoosh right in, grabbing it by the top of the gnome hat and yank it into the air as it flails. And yes, exactly that. But
Yeah.
like the body is not there. It's just the nose, just the gloves, just the boots.
Really good design.
Mm. Um, and as you flail and inspect it, right? And in its hands is you would expect it to maybe be like it's jean material, it's denim.
Mm.
But it doesn't look like an item of clothing insofar as somehow, with either stealth or accuracy or some sort of tool that you've not seen, it's managed to cut the panel out so it is maybe the back of a jean jacket, but it's just all the kind of like hemmings and stitchings are removed. It's just a full flat square.
Mm.
As it's trying to like roll it up and stuff it inside the hat.
So I think Loki's gonna kind of just look at this little thing and be like, "Huh, well, you're not the normal kind of burglar we have in this part of London. Hello, little guy. What are you?"
Mm. I don't know if it has. It doesn't speak. Definitely not.
Mm.
It has. It expresses like indignance in that it's thrashing. Um,
Mm.
like uh, I guess it sounds like if you were looking in a charity like a charity clothing shop, and there was like a bargain bin of like t-shirts and you were angrily rummaging around in that, is the kind of, if it was to have a voice at all, that's what it sounds like as it is flailing.
Mm. Yeah.
With ninja quickness, another gnome jumps up in field of view and tries to snatch at it. You pull it out of the way, but instead it grabs a thread and now starts scarpering down in a different direction as you look at the gnome that you're holding in your hand
Is it
as
unraveling the gnome?
yes, like a cartoon, it is starting to unravel as
Oh
the other
no.
one is making
Oh no.
tracks.
Um. Ooh. I'm trying to decide like how much do I care about the gnome?
So cooler heads prevailing.
Hmm.
While it would be fascinating to have a pulse specimen, which uh, you do know through your experience of kind of dealing with the pulse in the city, there are minor pulse, which are, coalescing of bad vibes that don't really have they might have a thing that they are spawned from or adhering to. There's generally some kind of emotion or intent that it's exhibiting, but there's nothing in it. You could destroy a minor pulse and it would just vanish. There are, however, prime pulse, which are much stronger formed emotions. Those can coalesce on their own, build out of thin air into a large object. That's if like an entire community of people were feeling some type of way, and all that ambient emotion built into an object like a blockage. But sometimes the bad vibes can cling to a person. It could be their own emotional state or external, and the pulse infects their own heart and turns them into a pulse, themselves, a prime pulse. This thing being destroyed would not damage a person. You're pretty sure it is. There's no way a person could fit inside this tiny thing anyway. But at the very least, if you do have a thread like Ariadne in the labyrinth, you might be able to follow to see where they're scarpering off to.
Yeah, because I guess like I was trying to work out if it would be like I don't want it to like die. I'm attracted to this little gnome thing now. Like you let me get emotionally attached.
Protocol tells you that this can't stick around. The idea of keeping bad vibes in your home because it's cute is ways that people have been done in the past.
This is something I do though. Don't call me out like this.
Like, don't give up on him.
Eyes. Sorry, Head.
Don't give up on him.
Like, I've got all the little fluffy little guys.
It's just a little guy. Unfortunately, this little guy, if left to its own devices, will continue to thief from people.
But it could steal from me.
But yes, unfortunately, I will remain firm in the Tom and Jerry cartoonish bit. It is unraveling into a long, consistent piece of yarn that you can continue to, as long as you hold one end of it, follow as the other speeds away down the city streets.
So give the cheers mate nod to my stunt double, because I don't know if they're gonna come with, and get back on the board and just ram it after this thing, I guess. And I feel like because Loki is still like a little attached, they're gonna be trying to like bundle up all of the thread as they get it,
trying to
like shove it back into the rough
together.
shape.
Yeah, as you're going, you're winding up a bobbin of minor pulse as you continue to be hot on the trail. Your stunt double is like, excuse me. All right, boss. I'll catch you next time. As you vanish. Antonor, you get back to your apartment after having a conversation with Janice. And added to your to-do list today is that you need to go and pass by the community hall at some point. To go and file this complaint about the dog on Unleashed, likely from those folks at 66B. Like, why wouldn't it be? You pass by your place. Just the route that you take takes you by your apartment on the way to the community center, community hall. There is a parcel outside your door.
Another one? Okay.
From Asbestos Fabrics.
Asbestos Fabrics. Okay. Wow. Really fast delivery times. I take the time to take it inside and open it up.
It is. I mean, what is the item this time around?
Can it be like the sleeves of like a weather poncho? Like weird vinyl-y?
Yeah. You get something of like pattern pieces of neoprene.
Yeah.
Like this would be like a swimsuit or an athleisure material. Like a diving, like the kind that would be a full body to kind of go snorkeling in. That's neoprene, I'm pretty sure. And a lot of athleisure gear is also made from it. It seems that they've taken the time. Maybe this particular service is kind of assuming that you're more of a tailor than a sculptor, because this is already in perfectly done pattern pieces. Like they've already cut it out of the fabric and just kind of put this unraveled jigsaw into a box for you.
Yeah, not what I'm used to from them. I think. Can I check sort of like if there's a service? Can I check the last intended delivery from the fabric service, and if it corresponds to these deliveries?
Sure. Do you have a computer? No, yes, because you've online mail ordered these
Mhm.
tapes before. So yes, you go over to your computer and you go to the Asbestos Fabrics website. And you go and click the page for like customer login.
Mhm.
And for the life of you, you cannot remember your account details.
Huh. I think there's like, yeah, I think there's like a notebook with like previous passwords. I try to go look for it.
Yes, this is a roll, not difficult, just one hit.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna suggest like I don't even don't have to roll for it if it's just like not there.
No. I think the fact your emotional reaction to this and the change of your heart rate, I think, is relevant. So,
Okay. So 4 dice. One hit.
You find it.
Okay.
You don't think you've made it. There's no account for Asbestos Fabrics.
Okay. Extremely starting to doubt herself.
But like, the business is here.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose if you needed to, you could go and pass by the office. You glance at like the time on the computer screen. It's like 3-4 p.m. Even if they close at 5, it's not far.
Okay, so the mental to-do list gets tacked down once.
Mm-hmm.
Main task: find out what's going on, because these materials, not what I'm used from them,
Mm-hmm.
weird quality, and I'm a textile sculptor, not some fabric weaver or knitter. The distinction is academic and true and manifested through the vessel of art, obviously, and they should know this. I am highly sought after, unpublished artist Antonor Severe.
So you set the neoprene patterns aside and you step outside. I just fully just adding yell at a textile manufacturers to your thought cabinet as you step outside, and you are, I guess it's kind of open for where you want to go to next, as whether you want to go to the community hall for your estate, or go and visit Asbestos Fabrics.
I think I want to go to Asbestos Fabrics. Yeah.
For the first time, the camera properly follows you as you move into one of the more open walkways of your flat complex. These we've seen these kind of concrete, almost brutalist style walkways, flights of stairs, very nice looking apartment doors and apartment interiors, even in the dark like yours, but not really where this is. You eventually take a walkway where it opens up to the open air on the left and right of you. And on one side, you can kind of hear the bustle, of movement of traffic through a kind of narrow vertical window slot, like the kind of style that, like in the medieval era, an archer would shoot an arrow through. On the other side is an open expanse of lush courtyard of trees, of bricked plazas, of a kind of like river canal that manages to still, despite the opening and ending of it not being visible, be clear and a deep blue-green, not a far cry from the darker waters of the River Thames. You are a resident of the Barbican estate, a fortress of a kind within the center of London. Moving back to Loki, you've chased this for a while and you're starting to get exhausted. But you come to, you pass by, oh no, these are the things I should have checked before I went on. There's this, Farringdon, there we go. Farringdon Station. Where you can pick up both the Bakerloo and the New Elizabeth line. And just beyond that, you see the corner of the Barbican, a literal fortress in design, designed to mimic the old Roman castle walls that moved through and defined the center of London as a civilization hundreds of years ago, modernized and reformed and expanded in infinite ways, and yet it still lingers in small chunks in areas like this. But the architecture of it reflected in this new building with semicircular arches, the kind of sawtooth crenellations on the top of it. No obvious entrance. There are walkways in, but they're not immediately visible from the street below. You need to know where they are. Walkways move from it to the neighboring buildings, including Barbican Station itself. It is its own space. An arcology built in the 60s before even the cyberpunk idea of a self-sufficient community even really existed in sci-fi consciousness. A gnome jumps through a parapet window.
Okay.
got me.
Is there still like yarn leading to it? Okay.
You for a moment consider using it to like belay your way up through the window, and you're like, no, that will snap and I will hurt myself.
Even Loki is not quite dumb enough to try that. Especially without their stunt double. They'd get them to do that. Okay, so like, and they can't see a way in.
So you would be able to, with a little bit of like looking around, find a pedestrian entrance. They're just not obvious from first glance. If you were a tourist, you wouldn't know. You know, it's that kind of build. Alternatively, well, you know, you are the kind of person who is capable of performing stunts when you're when you are boarding. You could, and hey, being built the way it is with many different tiers and levels, some of that could be a grinding path.
So I think what they'll do before anything else, so that like the yarn they have doesn't get like kind of just pulled away, because they're not going to be able to go somewhere else and just like lead a new path. I think they're going to like try and tie what they've got to a lamppost, and then like put like the kind of sad pile of used to be gnome at the bottom. I like to imagine maybe they'll come back later and someone's left flowers there, thinking it's something like.
Gosh. Yeah. This is like people who like graffiti by knitting objects and just tying it to places. Yeah.
Yeah, like it looks kind of like a yarn bomb, I feel like.
There we go. That's the term.
Do this on the street lamp, and then I think they're gonna like gear up to do like some tricks and try and find another way in the hope that now that they've tied this end as well, they'll be able to spot the yarn again when they're inside.
Yes, absolutely. Go and give me a roll about it for your skateboarding ingress.
Yes. And before, again, I did raise my heartbeat for the last one.
Absolutely. Oh, you're running at 8. You're getting quite high.
Yes, I'm getting quite high. I'm being wary at this point, but feels for this fitting.
This is I think this is also a 3 check. 3 hit check to do this cleanly. I think you'll still do it if it's less, but it won't be as
yeah.
Quick mention, I've raised my heart rate back up to 5.
Absolutely.
You're keeping low. Interesting.
Stable. I'm so managed.
That is 3 successes and a 1.
Okay. Hmm, that one is relevant this time.
Maybe.
Tell me what it looks like as you manage to see your vision, your route through your like Wii era Nintendo Super Guide that highlights the path you'll need to take to get
Yeah.
up to that kind of window.
So I think they're gonna kind of see like a route where they go up one of those kind of like curving ramps that goes up somewhere on like a neighboring building, and then kind of jump across and almost like wall ride for a bit, because I feel like Loki can do that. Like they'll do like a wall ride and then hop across to the neighboring wall, and that's what will actually allow them to like get in on the like first level of the Barbican.
Absolutely. Excellent. Meanwhile, Antonor, you glance away from this vision of the Barbican, which is your everyday scenery, but it's just particularly beautiful today. Even on a sweltering day like this, it manages to not feel like it is sweltering down there. It looks just as fresh as the day you moved in. And as you tear your vision away from looking for it, there's another blur at the side of your vision through that kind of like tall but still somewhat wide, narrow slit of a window on your other side that would be to the road outside. Something jumps through that gap.
Oh,
It looks, yeah.
Go see it.
You do see it this time. It fell short, so it's just two big, goofy, cartoon-looking hands that are holding the sides of it. And as you expect to see a full person, or maybe Mickey Mouse, kind of climb through that gap, instead it's just a bulbous nose followed by a large knitted hat and two big, clunky shoes, which then tumbles ass over tea kettle into the concrete walkway in front of you.
Immediately starts sprinting after it, yelling, "Art!"
Yes, as you barrel after it, you give chase. Even though you carry so much weight on your back, it does not slow you down when you are motivated, and not even 3 more windows along this walkway, another much larger bit figure barrels through another of these gaps inside. They are wildly dressed in a very your understanding of kind of tailoring and to a degree clothes making kicks in of a pitch perfect but kind of like a sartorially elevated 90s fashion barrels through another window, also kind of very animated and somewhat out of breath.
Can I use my because one of my tags is staircase athleticism.
That's so specific. Oh my god.
Yes. We will definitely kick into that. However, of the one that Loki rolled, I will increase your heart rate as you essentially being double jump scared by stuff moving through the window and surprise like makes you start as your heart rate increases. Loki, you barrel through the second window, glance to your right and see the retreating gnome, glance to your left and see an older woman with a massive backpack sprinting towards you.
Boss! Out of the way.
Yeah, I feel like Loki's like having this like look around and it's just like, hello, hi, the gnome, and it's just gonna keep barreling after the gnome.
Yeah. Your initial kind of like mild surprise at being bopped by this woman as she runs past you, and the fact that there's a thing that you're apparently both chasing. We're gonna go into a quick break, and when we return, the second half of today's story.
Awesome.
Okay, and we are back. Oh, this has been a sizzler of a session so far. We immediately reconvene after the break as a knitted gnome is running through the hallways of the Barbican in hot pursuit by two people who have now run into each other on a chance encounter. Ruben, why don't you go and give me a brief description of the kind of cinematic shot of Antonov running after the gnome?
I think it's a little Ip Man from the side, hallway shot, and just barreling down, knocking, I think, like video game exploding like potted plants outside of apartment doors. And
just knocking them aside, yes.
Knocking them inside, doing like jumping over like left out there strollers, that kind of stuff. And my goal is to sort of like do a bent forward and capture one of these gnomes in my large coffer.
Okay. And in a similar establishing shot of you also giving chase, what's the shot of Loki also in hot pursuit? Slightly behind, but are hot on the heels of Antonov at the least.
Yeah, so I think Loki's would be kind of like from below, like a Dutch tilt, as they're like weaving between all of the things on their board. Especially now with all of the pots flying everywhere. Like, it'd be one of shots where like it starts out looking really cool, and then it just kind of like suddenly you have all the diegetic sound as things are breaking, and they're just ducking and yelling as they try and move out the way of all the chaos that is being strewn in front of them now.
Absolutely. Now, let's go and have Antonov make a roll, shall we, to see how well she manages to ensnare the knitted gnome. Obviously, you'd be rolling your heart rate. I'm going to say that this is a 2-hit check to do. And would you like to be using any of your aspects to add additional dice to your roll?
I would still like to be... Oh.
Wait for that to go past, no worries.
I would like to use staircase athleticism, if that is applicable here.
Absolutely. You've walked up and down the stairways and hallways of the Barbican so often, and it has given you thighs of steel, if nothing else, to be able to carry the backpack that you take with you everywhere. So yes, please do roll your heart rate and add 2, trying to beat 2 hits or more.
Yeah, there's a kind of urban physique that you can only get by walking up a lot of stairs. I did exactly 2 hits, no ones.
No ones. Okay, excellent. Yes, it happens as you say. Interestingly enough, once the knitted gnome realizes you are in pursuit, Antonov, it's not running as fast.
Okay.
It seems to be aware of the fact that you are chasing it as opposed to Loki. And as a result, you don't even feel that you need to push yourself that difficult. Let's take that sentence. You don't feel you need to push yourself that hard to be able to actually go and eventually capture this thing.
Yeah, I do a flip forward, sort of like a top side shelf, like drawer, kind of like extends as I bend downwards, scoop up the gnome, and do a front flip as I use the coffer to balance myself, and sort of like do a clear landing, like safe, and then turn around at Loki, and going through my self-help tapes, I wonder, okay, I need to apologize. I did a rudeness. I'm sorry I'm so strong. How are you?
Well, the problem isn't so much that you're strong, but that you decided to hit me?
You are in the way of art, and I've captured art.
You can see in the middle distance, Loki, like just behind Antonov's head at the top of the backpack, it's like...
Loki just goes, are you saying I'm not art then?
Self-help tape. I'm rich, I don't know. Okay,
what?
Another one.
Rich people normally are the ones who are buying lots of art. I don't...
There's a single self-help tape that leaves through a parapet, just like immediately
flung
flung out of the collection. Okay, and I work.
What was that?
That looked like you're like finely attuned as Loki is to 90s technology, so you know it when you see it. That was a VHS tape that flew out that parapet window.
Was that a VHS tape or possibly a Betamax?
It is. I need help, so I watch TV a lot.
But that's not TV. That's tape. Tape is superior in every way to broadcast TV.
Are you saying it's some kind of material that we need to include more in the artistic considerations here?
Well, I mean, I suppose that magnetic tape is often overlooked. Most people say film and celluloid's better. As a connoisseur of both, I do think that there's a certain charm that it has, though.
Interesting. Do you also chase a lot of gnomes in day-to-day life? How
Well,
did
it's
you
not-
get in here, actually?
I walked in. Yeah, let's go with that.
The kind of like immediate like flashback to maybe 40 seconds ago of you barreling through the window and being seen doing that. I walked in here.
Yeah, no, I did see you launch yourself through one of the windows here, and I can't help but wonder.
Well, what's a little property damage between friends?
I sort of look behind at all the strewn strollers and plant pots. You know what? I think art is generative in its destruction, and as artists, we can understand this. Do you want to dissect one of these things?
Well, I already have the remains of one just outside on the street.
You are gnarly. I like that.
So I thank you. I prefer the term rad though.
Rad.
Rad, yes.
I'm too old to say that.
Oh, you're never too old. The 90s was yesterday, honey.
It was long ago. It was.
Loki just kind of looks at you like you've said something really rude, and just like their heart breaks just that little bit.
Goes up.
I'm interested. There can be contested roles in Heartbreak and Perfect Sync. One excellent opportunity for us to introduce a mechanic
Absolutely.
to the people who are watching. In instances where there are two people with heart rates who are contesting to do something, they both roll and check to see how many hits they get. They can invoke additional tags if they so choose. Upon doing so, the person that gets more hits wins whatever conflict it is. They get to narrate how they succeed, and then also either get to change their own or the opponent's hit rate by the difference of results. So, say for example, one person rolled 4 hits and the other person rolled 2. The person that rolled 4 won in excess of 2 and could either raise or lower their own heart rate or their opponent's by 2. In this particular instance, there is a firm verbal miscommunication happening between these two people. And because the fact that emotional damage is on the line of this communication, I think it's something worth rolling about. So I would love for both of you to roll your heart rates. Are you adding any aspects to this roll?
I raised my heart rate based on the gnome.
Sure, absolutely. So you're now
Fantastic.
sitting at 6.
As I kept mine the same, so I'm saying at 8. Do I want to add anything?
I want to add one of my other tags, which is bad relationship advice.
Okay. All right. No. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything or prescribe anything about this. I'm just going to let this be natural and beautiful. Okay. Will you be adding any aspects, Chucky?
I feel like because the like entire like integrity as a 90s enjoyer is being hurt right now, I will bring into this the ephemeral bag of 90s stuff.
Okay.
they're ready to have receipts for this.
In that case, we have both established what aspects we're using. Both of you please roll your heart rates with additional 2d6 for the aspects you are using.
I can count them.
Here we go. 2, 3.
No, it's clocked.
3 hits. 1, 1.
Do not worry about ones for our PvP rolls. Oh, calculating.
4 hits.
Okay. Beating in excess of 1. That is Loki. Please tell me how you managed to come on top in this conversation, and then tell me about whose heart rate you are changing by run.
So they're just gonna like look deep into your soul for a minute and be like, "Are you aware of shutter shades? Pretty 90s, I'd say. Got a pair here. And yet, what's this? People still wear them at raves. And what about jorts? I'm wearing them right now."
The camera pans down to the jorts, pans back up.
My God!
The 90s is living well and truly. The 90s never ended. And I will not hear anything said otherwise. And your heart rate's gonna go up.
My heart rate's gonna go up. Okay, that's awesome.
The knitted gnome in Atenor's backpack has, I think, resigned itself to the world and is no longer thrashing.
See, I could have kept it as a pet then. It would have just accepted it.
I don't know. It's hard to tell without looking whether despair has taken hold, whether it's just been like, oh, this is fine, and it's just sitting here, or maybe it feels some type of way about the conversation you just had, but it is no longer thrashing.
Also a 90s baby.
Yeah. Then I was just like, yeah, that's what I thought. It's actually a troll doll under there.
Oh no, that's scarier, to be honest.
Ooh. I think Antinor looks at Loki. He goes, "I respect the dedication. I didn't see it that way until now, and you've opened in this gnome's eyes, I guess. Can I get the gnome out?"
Yeah.
Please.
You just reach in and pull it back out with, like, you know where it is.
What is this? I sort of like hold it up to Loki. You were chasing it.
Well, do you want the reality is normal and I don't have to have a crisis about it answer, or the real answer?
Reality has never been normal. I have barely gone outside for 23 years.
So you mean to say that you don't think the 90s are real, and yet you haven't been outside since 2002?
No, exactly. It's not the 90s.
Sure.
Also, time still passes regardless if I am interacting with society changing around me. I stand by that much.
Time's an illusion. You can always look through it.
Time is a calendar, and it's on my wall.
You glance sidelong, Antinor, at the knitted gnome, and you've never seen this before. It's novel to you, but also it is familiar conceptually. It is there is a frustration within it, or maybe a hunger, or maybe an experimentation that you see yourself in. It's a bit of a knotted morass of threads of emotion, but all of them feel relevant, perceivable. Loki, this is a minor pulse, and you probably need to destroy it before it becomes a problem.
Yeah. So on the back of what like you were saying before, like he's just gonna be like, right, well, regardless of whether you think about time, this is a pulse. It's kind of You know when you have a really bad day and it feels like the world itself is weighing down on you?
No, my life is perfect.
Well, good for you.
Hold on. Expression from Antenor. Like, you say that flatly. What's Antenor's expression upon saying that? Is it very obvious you're lying?
This is the expression. Severe.
Mm.
My life is perfect.
Right. Well, I'm not gonna unpack that. Um, but so when you're having like a bad time, or maybe even a really good time, that feeling, that energy, something about it that sometimes, I don't know why, don't know how, sometimes that becomes a thing. And for whatever reason, someone's feeling a kind of way right now, and that gnome is that kind of way. Um, I don't really know what feeling it is, but it's only gonna get worse if we leave it. So the other one already fell apart, which is a shame because it was kind of cute. But we need to deal with this because it was stealing things. Maybe it's like greed or something, but
So
whatever it
this is,
is.
you're saying that this is a manifestation of someone's emotional state.
Not necessarily someone's, could be many people's, could be like the vibe of the world itself.
Mhm.
But whatever it is powerful and it is uncontrollable.
It is
A
tactile.
hand from the knitted gnome goes underneath its cap and pulls out a box,
Oh, thank you.
neatly wrapped from asbestos fabrics.
Now that explains a lot of the packages that have been on
Your
my
name is
doorstep.
Shop Asbestos.
No, it's
Mhm.
asbestos.
Yes, you have a look at the kind of like branding on the box, and it is spelt ASBESTO apostrophe S fabrics.
So it's like a cereal then.
There's a man called Asbesto, and he has fabrics. He's actually in this building. I've met him a couple times. Direct man.
Well, I guess I can't judge too much. I am called Loki.
You're called Loki?
Yes, sorry, I forgot that names aren't a thing that most people just know.
You're known? Are you famous?
In some spaces. But who are you?
I'm well sought after and unpublished artist, Antenor Severe. I run a textile gallery in this building too, actually, called Severe Threads. It's going
Mhm.
well.
Mhm.
So is this whole place just clothing brands? Because I was coming here to find a Festus as well doing clove stuff.
Would I have heard of Hephaestus?
Yes. I think this is probably within remit. Yeah, Hephaestus Tailoring is a business that operates out of here. Insofar as, yes, okay, this is probably the best way to explain it. There is the Barbican estate is of a fixed size. Unlike towns where you can continue to build out or even continue to build up once you run out of functional space, the Barbican estate is what it is. You can maybe change what's in it, but the space in it is finite. You can't add additional shops. However, that has not stopped in the kind of current gig economy age and people turning their hobbies into methods of profit, people operating businesses out of their own homes. So some people do actually use their living spaces as essentially an at-home retail or atelier. It is possible, for example, to on Wednesday evenings pass by everybody's favorite auntie who cooks like quite like catering level size Caribbean dishes after being well known for all of her family gatherings and her being a really good cook. People genuinely come to her with money to go and buy her cooking when she operates on a Wednesday. And that's just something she does out of her own home.
The only person in the entire Barbican that Answer has not filed a complaint against.
And similarly, Hephaestus Tailoring, you look at the address. It's an apartment address. It's not one of the actual like public buildings within the estate.
I can take you to Hephaestus Tailoring. I know where he's at. I don't like to use his services that much, given my art. Would you like to accompany me first to Asbestos, seeing as they, and I hold up the little gnome, have packages directly from them, and I would like higher quality products than vinyl and a gnome.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You open this particular box, by the way. There is a length of denim, perfectly cut on its edges to be like a straight oblong.
How dare you? I get out a needle, and actually, can I sort of, the way that I'm perceiving this gnome,
Mm-hmm.
like an intermingling kind of like loops of fabric and like emotion, like charging with emotional energy or
Mhm.
whatever. Is there a way for me to like restitch this in a way that it is, connected to me in some sense? Can I affect this?
There is a role you can do about that for sure.
Mhm.
I would say that trying to connect with the pulse on that kind of level could be dangerous. If you want to go and take the thread from the knitted gnome and in some way attach it directly to your sense of being and not just like in a physical, literal way tying it around yourself, that would be a 4-hit roll to not fuck yourself about.
Ooh. Question is, does Antonor know that's a bad idea yet? We didn't really get that far.
No, you haven't.
To me, this is an impressive automaton.
Mm-hmm.
Because why would I believe that there's a magical world where things exist yet if I don't feel it directly?
Mm-hmm.
You raised my heart rate, right, Loki?
Yeah.
Yeah. 2, 3.
Is this gonna come back to bite me?
So you're rocking at 7 now, I think?
Yes. I rolled 1 hit, 2 ones.
Okay.
Oh no.
You don't do it. There are no critical failures in this, so don't worry about that. You look around and with your free hand, because you're holding it in the other hand, find a loose thread and you pull it. And as you grab it and pull it away, you no longer feel that you're holding the end of it, and you go like, oh, did I just drop the end of the yarn? And so you open your hand, and then you can see that the yarn has somehow lodged itself or burrowed its way or essentially fused into the palm of your hand, and it is moving. The frustration that you felt earlier today as you were working on tessellation comes back in full force, doubled, tripled in intensity. And it's nauseating. Just the fact that there's always a frustration in real life when you have a frustration in your life that you've set aside because you need to do something else, and then that frustration manages to bubble its way up out of the compartmentalization you're doing to interfere with your current emotional state, and it pulls you right back. And that is happening with like a microphone standing too close to an amp feedback ripple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Loki, you're knocked backwards by the sheer differential pressure that just kind of like spiritual differential pressure that just happens.
Ooh.
as your heart drops at the confusion or like potential circumstances that may have to things go through your mind, Loki, at once. One, oh, these this thing and this person are related. That's dangerous. Two, there is a level of feedback from this person to this pulse that is so much stronger than a mundane person. And usually, when that's true, they have a message on their smartphone about it. You know, there is some explanatory service that comes in. They're aware of these things, and it seems that Antenor is not aware. Third thing, wait. Worst case scenario. Antenor is not real and is a prime pulse, and this is just the anglerfish, ordinary human as the pulse go and do whatever they like. You need to deal with this. This is so much more dangerous than a knitted minion running around.
Oh no.
So that was 2 ones rolled. Loki, your heart rate drops by 2.
Okay.
Antenor, your heart rate increases by 2. When you fail, I can choose to increase your heart rate, change your heart rate by up to 2.
Okay. I'm up to 9.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Loki's just gonna is just like kind of still like a little dazed and is just like, oh no. I thought this was gonna be a fun one. How long have you been feeling this way? And I feel like they're gonna try and keep talking while also kind of like quietly like kicking up their board into their hand, ready to like bap someone with it.
Sure.
Like the nice thing about having a weapon that's not obviously a weapon is like they're just kind of like it just looks casually like they're just kicking it up to hold it. But they're very much like readying an attack here.
How long have you felt this way, Antenor?
I think what Antenor does is sees this happening, has a realization of simultaneously of like this is powerful arts at work, but also it is harming me directly. Could I like it's streaming into me from the gnome, right? I have it in one hand. I look at Loki just absolutely frightened and bizarred out. I throw the gnome at them. I go like, since now? And I sort of like try to sort of like hold it against.
As you fling the gnome away, Antenor, your phone goes off.
Block number. No.
Do you check your phone?
I think I do. I think we established with Janice there is but I do check my phone right now. Just
you reach to where your phone is in your free hand to pull out your phone. As you, in the middle of doing so, as your hand clasps around your phone, you realize that's not your ringtone. Your phone has never sounded like that. And as you pull your hand away to inspect your phone, what you actually do is pull your weapon. What is it?
Ooh, my weapon. So like I retrieve it out of sort of like my phone. I put into like behind, like on the back drawer of the backpack. I like my arm comes back into frame, and it's like this hard fabric, like chainmail like substance made of textiles, wrapped around my arm like a sort of like PAL bunker battering ram. And I hold it up to me, and like I think there's like a smirk actually. It's like the panic stops and goes like, huh. I understand my own art better now.
How do you react, Loki? on the weapon being pulled.
Like they're already ready to attack. I think like they see this gnome being thrown and this weapon being pulled as a very direct threat, and they are gonna like just to check. We're like outside in like the kind of gardeny area, right?
So over to one side of you is you're essentially on an upper balcony overlooking all of the kind of courtyard of the Barbican.
Yeah. So I think they are gonna like attempt to basically swing the skateboard and knock Antonor down because I think they're kind of like, I need to get away. I am not dealing with a prime pulse alone.
I want you to make a roll, Trocky. Antonor, you do not need to make a roll against this. This is against a different thing. It's only a 2-hit check.
Okay.
Or that's not true. It should be probably rolled against you. So far, I've not rolled any dice this scenario because minor pulse don't have heart rates and don't need to do anything. However, the thing that you're rolling against is something much larger and is rolling 9 dice.
Yay! I don't like when the GM pulls the dice bag out.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
Put 'em
fine.
away.
Would you like to add any tags? Would you like to add any tags?
Oh, sure. I'll add all the things.
You don't have to. Genuine. To be clear, I'm loving the drama of this situation going horribly wrong. Nothing bad will befall you if you fail this roll, but a thing is, you are swinging against something, and it's not Antonor.
I believe you, GM.
No, I'm genuinely no harm will befall you. I'm not that kind of GM that's like, ooh, I gotcha. Ooh, I was lying the entire time. Genuinely, no harm will befall Loki. Your heart rate will not change. But you are rolling against something much bigger and much more dangerous than this gnome or Antonor.
I'm gonna use my 6 skateboard because I'm in the progress of using it anyway.
Can I
could really do with that?
Can I help in any way?
Ooh, so teamwork in this game is offered in 2 ways. Non-mechanically, when you do actions and roll dice to kind of make the circumstances easier for someone else, the number of hits required for them to do things will be lower. So if you kind of set things up in your actions for something else, that will usually mean that they have to roll less. In instances where 2 or more people have the exact same heart rate, they can perform a perfect sync attack where they are rolling their dice together and totaling their successes together. I do not believe you're currently at the same heart rate.
No, because you're on like 9, right? I'm on 6.
So not in this instance, but it's always something to bear in mind for the future.
Okay. I'm gonna roll in. That is 3 hits.
You tie.
Ooh.
As you go for the swing, there is like milliseconds before the potential impact to Antonor. Granted, Antonor, even the moment that you have this weapon in your hand, your senses have expanded. You know that you are a strong woman, spiritually and physically. That's what the tapes tell you. But it feels like your literal output of physical strength and dexterity and perception are heightened with this summoned to your aid. And even then, the person that has decided to attack you clearly must have been at this for a very long time because the speed at which they swung their skateboard was lightning fast. You barely perceived it being swung until it is almost to you, and you brace yourself for impact, but it does not happen. There is a deep rumbling, a creak, a shift in space, in architecture, in time, as you are both spatially pulled vastly apart. Antonor, you are shifted up 2 floors, just in space. you excuse me, there's like a whirling of scents and you feel horribly disoriented, and then you realize as you glance in your surroundings you're basically where you were but multiple floors up. The distance between you and the courtyard is visibly further down. The numbers of some of the buildings are different in a way that this is clearly not where you were standing before. Loki, you are pulled backwards back down that corridor that you were in to at the start where you entered into this building. And as you whirl backwards and suddenly manage to try and pull your sense of focus together, all of the strewn around pots, all of the overturned prams, all of the chaos that chase against the knitted gnome caused is not there. It is as if that chase never happened.
What the heck?
You swing empty air.
Am I near apartment 56B?
Sure.
Can I use my battering ram to knock on the door?
I mean, functionally, there is nothing stopping you from doing this.
But
I will ask you, where is this going?
a quick scene where I get my newfound powers and confidence to complain directly instead of filing one.
Fair enough.
We can skip it.
No. It's fine. We get the swing to empty air of like, what the hell? Meanwhile, outside 56B, there is we see the inside of an apartment. The space and dimensions of it very familiar. It's the same kind of build as Antonor's, maybe flipped considering the orientation of where it is in the building, as just an ordinary couple. You know, I would say they are both maybe in two men in their like mid to late 30s, spending their pink dollar the way that they have chosen to, which is with very nice furniture and a very well kept, very small dog. What does the sound of the pile bunker knocking against their front door sound like?
Vaguely soft, like trying to, what is the sound of you throwing a ball of yarn against a wall? It's kind of like soft, but like
soft and large.
Exactly. It sort of like has a droning to it, maybe.
Hello. There's squint at your face at Eyeline and notices you, Antonor, even though I don't think you've have you formally met by name?
I think not directly, but during sort of like tenant meetings, like round.
There's a squint at you in a kind of his expression says, "What are you doing here?" What he says is, "How can I help you?" His eyes, you follow his eyes as they move to your side and see the elaborate raised column of knitted material around that is still in the shape of a weapon, even if the textile is bizarre. Do for you.
I found out two important things about myself just now. Number one, there's a part of me that is connected to my art in a way that is, as you can see here, equipable, usable, very, very tactile. The second part,
Robert, just glancing over his shoulder into the kind of one of the residences here. She's carrying
art.
Well, I don't know what it is, but it's threatening.
It's art, and it is a threat, but only if you don't allow yourself to be open-minded about what art is. The second thing I don't like, Ian, is your dog. And I've had complaints before, and I really, really need the dog to stop interrupting my work.
Quentin wouldn't hurt a fly.
Well, It's not about hurting. It's about
Oh, is it
interrupting.
not? He says, looking once again at the weapon in your hand.
Are you threatened by art? That is a pain you've inflicted to yourself and your own soul.
Look, I'm not quite sure what we have done, but clearly we have aggrieved you in some way. How about we send a gift down to your apartment, and if you let me know which one it is, I can send delivery. That can be a show of our contrition.
And the dog I ignore?
The dog will not. Quentin, while I insist that Quentin has never harmed a fly, I will redouble my efforts to make sure that when we're on our walks, our little darling is of no nuisance to you. In fact, I shall be changing our walking route so we will not be passing anywhere near your door, wherever that may be. He genuinely has no idea.
Yes, apartment 2F. And I'm just making sure that the Barbican remains safe and accessible. Thank you for understanding. I won't be bothering you and Ian, you and Robert, anymore.
Well, have a good evening with your art.
Yeah, thank you.
There's like upon it being like cocked, there's like an as he slams the door.
Antenor is not well.
Having a wretched day. As weirdly enough, though, there is as you exhale upon having vented your feelings, it's almost as if the concrete itself that you're standing on, you don't feel movement, but there is also a sigh that ripples through these corridors, and you're unsure if it is your breath echoing off the brutalist halls, or if it is something else elsewhere in the building. Loki having been put firmly near where they came in. There are no words, but there is a feeling. There is no message, but it is heard. There is no one here, but there is a presence, and it says you are not. Harm was intended. You are not welcome. You look around. You are alone.
Yeah. I think they're gonna like want to test it in some way. Like, I think they're trying to understand like what is doing this, because the pulse is normally like an object or like a person. It's not, seemingly in their experience, usually an environment. So I think they probably haven't even considered that is possible yet.
And your phone goes off.
Flip it open.
You get, despite your phone maybe not necessarily having the capacity for it, a GPS map app opens, and it shows a kind of like, aerial view of the area within the Barbican. And there is like, it's heat mapped by kind of like a emotion density. And you can see in your area, it is like in deep red. It's in like the dangerous levels. You zoom out. You zoom out. You zoom out. It's the entire estate in deep red.
What on earth happened here?
I think they're gonna like, as a test, I think they want to like, because you said all the plant pots and stuff have like repaired themselves, right? I think they're gonna like just try and break one to work out like, is this impacting like literally everything here?
Mm-hmm.
Also, is the window they broke through still broken?
So, even though I've described them as windows, since this is an open area, they are kind of like concrete parapet spaces.
Hmm.
So, even though it functions as a window, there is no glass.
Okay, yeah.
Which is why it was easy for you to kind of like get inside without you having to break anything. But yeah, all of what would have been the detritus of your chase has been reset to exactly where it was before.
Hmm. So yeah, I think they're gonna like just try and like smash one pot because I think they want to understand like, is this because I tried to hurt a resident, or is this the entire place?
Mm. No need to roll for this. How do you try to smash the pot?
I think they're just gonna like try and like crunch it from the top
Mhm.
and just like destroy the whole pot.
As we see a low shot up as you loom in frame with the skateboard above you, ready to do a kind of downward swing. And as you do so, you feel yourself with pressure from above without it really feeling like it's an impact of some kind of physical force, slam you vertically downwards, and you shift through several feet of concrete and land painfully on your back in the underground parking lot.
Ooh.
Oh.
On the floor that you were just on, the pot wobbles a little bit and settles back into place.
Oh no. It's this whole place. I think it's time to call in the big guns. They're gonna like get their phone out. I feel like the group that they were in before probably has like a group chat or something because they kept ending up together on so many pulses that they were like,
yes.
Loki would have insisted on making a group chat, and then everyone would have to deal with the fact that it's in like one of the only pieces of software that still works on their phone. And they're just gonna start typing in there like, Barbican is a pulse. The entire place. Please help.
And elsewhere in London, two people of many, who have heard the voice of the city and do their best to save areas from emotional incursion. A Colm Latreya and a Rumbi Kuranga receive a message from Loki. And we'll reconvene on that next time as we resume season 2 of London's Pulse. Ooh. Thank you very much for you two for playing and kicking off this new season, as both the rules of the game require and because I love doing it. We're going to be doing some end of session EXP work and also doing some comments and kudos. So, for the rules of the game, at the end of a session of Heartbeats in Perfect Sync, we go around the table of our players as they select another player, talk about how their understanding of each other has deepened, and then there is an awarding of either an expansion to their maximum heart rate or gaining a new aspect that they can use in the play. So, we're also going to like connect that up with a little bit of discussion of cool moments that our table had. Who would like to? Since we only have two players, who you're giving kudos to is very clear. But who would like to go? Who would like to go first in giving kudos to the other?
I would like to give kudos to Chalky for the decision to have for the decision to like be adversarial. I did not see that coming of like PvP in the first session essentially, and I think that is a really really interesting and slightly deserved attitude towards Antenor. seeing as she's the worst tenant to have ever existed.
And how has the connection between Antenor and Loki deepened, Ruben?
I think it's going to be like Loki is also living art because they first thing they asked, "Am I not art to you?" or something along those lines, which in Antinor's head is like, "Oh, I see what's going on here."
Wonderful. And now, Choki, you get to give either +1 to the maximum heart rate for Antenor, or you can give them a new fighting style where you decide together what it is.
Ooh, hang on. Let me look at what Anton already has. Because I feel like we haven't seen all of it yet, so it's a little trickier to work out where things fit into things.
Both of these can be useful, and you'll continue to gain an expansion to your heart rate and new aspects as we play. So do not worry about picking one over the other. The other may manifest itself in future play.
I think it would be cool to give Antonor a new aspect.
Okay.
Especially because, like, I think Antonor made a lot of interesting decisions, which I'll get onto with my kudos in a sec as well. But like, I think that Antenor could do with an aspect that's something to do with like their connection to this place, because I was not expecting them to be like connected to the area, but like they're very clearly very like tied to it. So I think like, and as well considering they're an artist and it's a very interesting architectural place, like something like concrete sculptor, like I think they have an understanding of this like fortress of concrete and rebar that exceeds everyone else, especially because they've spent so much time just like in their apartment not leaving it. And I think that like if anyone knows how to like maybe warp the entity of this place, it would be Antenor.
I like that. Cool. We have added the aspect of concrete sculptor to Antenor's character sheet.
Hell yeah! Thank you.
Moving to the other side of things, Choki.
Yeah, so I think, like, I mean, in general, I really love how you had your character be so connected to this place. But I also, like, specifically really love the decision to, like, how they interacted with this pulse and kind of chose to become a part of it. Because it was one of those things where, like, I didn't really, like, clock on at all how, like, linked to this character the pulse was. And then there was this moment where I was just like, oh no. And it really kind of tied everything together, I feel like, thematically, to have a better understanding of this character who fundamentally, like, I don't feel like we know too much about yet, but to understand that this little gnome and like this collecting of artwork and things is very interesting, and also just like their outlook on like their focus on art and what is art.
Nice. Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how that blossoms. Ruben. I guess this is also kind of like what. So does that kind of tie in terms of Loki's deepening in their understanding of Antenor?
Yeah, I think they understand a lot more like this person is someone who like hasn't really had the same level of like connection that they've had, because I think like Loki is very much a people person. Like even before the game started, I think they were always someone who they kind of rely on what other people say about their art. Whereas Antenor is clearly very like self-satisfied with their art because they think very highly of their art even without anyone else seeing it.
Yeah. What dynamic.
Yeah.
So Ruben, you get to either increase Loki's maximum heart rate by 1 or give an additional aspect.
Let's see. I think I would like to give a fighting style. And let's see. So we're at 16. I think sort of like I want to do something with the directorial style because you mentioned like a low angle and you're focused on filmmaking, but you sort of like have this cinematic like body control or sort of like how to, you know, you're very aware of where actors are in the space to then interact with them, sort of like only a you know, a film director is like, you need to be these inches apart, shift slightly.
And I foreseen blocking.
There we go.
That makes actual sense in terms of how staging works and things, I think.
Yeah.
That is cool. I got the term right. I'm smart. Cool. All right.
Do I need to remove one? Do I have too many now?
You are at you have room for one more fighting style, and then you'd have to start replacing them if you start getting new ones.
I can never remember what the cap is, but yeah.
You have you basically have an additional 3 slots for aspects on top of your regular sentence.
Awesome.
That is all the kind of like post end of session character bits and pieces to do, and we have a little bit of time before we have to go and kind of do the where can we be found. Anything you're excited about for next session?
I'm really excited to see kind of how the relationship between Antenor and this area develops, because I think like we've seen a lot how like people develop with each other as characters, but the idea of actually being a part of the Pulse as this like collective entity it seems to be, even without being heartbroken, is very interesting to me, because like that is something different, and it's like it makes Antenor, at least to Loki as a character, quite dangerous even without them being heartbroken. Whereas before, like, if you weren't heartbroken, you weren't a risk. Now it's kind of like blurring that line of like actually who is like anyone could be
any
Prime
resident
Pulse
in this area could, who knows?
Is the Prime Pulse just gonna like jump between people? Like, I don't know, and that's scary, and that's really interesting to explore.
It's like, what if the emotions line up, right? Not go against or go over a threshold, but just like, no, actually, I'm seeing what this is giving me, and I'm fine. I like what I'm enduring.
What about you, Ruben? What are you excited to see next time?
I want to see also about relationships, but relationship between mostly Loki and the introduction of Coleman Roomby. How sort of like in media res, we're going to establish character relationships, and where that's going to fall, right? Is Loki going to vie or vouch for Antenor? How's that gonna like? That is a scene specifically I'm very looking forward to.
I didn't even thought of that. Like, I'm gonna have to sit and think now about like what would Loki do at this point, because I feel like they don't know you very well, but like also I think they're someone who, especially now, is trying to put themselves more in other people's shoes. And I think the recognition that like you didn't even know what the Pulse was, and probably that recognition of like they'd probably remember the first time they ever got involved in all this. I think there's some level of them that even if they don't agree with you and they're wary of you, like there's something to be said for like this is a spot that everyone who fights the Pulse has been in. So I think they're gonna have to kind of rectify in their mind which way that goes.
It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, that's sick. That's absolutely sick.
It's gonna be really exciting. Oh, well, that is all the time we have for this session today. But we'll be back in our next video with more London's Pulse, Heartbeats in Perfect Sync. Going around the table very, very, very briefly. Where can people be found? Chalky, if I know that you do not want to be perceived, but in the instances where you do want to be perceived, where can you be perceived?
Yeah, so I normally perceived on twitch.tv/Choki Plays. I do variety and like literally anything over there. We did run a D&D campaign on there a while back called The Last Ascension, which was actually co-DM'd with a friend. It was very messy, very fun. I've never tried doing that before, but it was a really great experiment. So I want to do more stuff like that in the future at some point. And then I also just do like games, cooking, IRL, whatever I feel like. And then you can also find me at Choki1000 on YouTube, where I am, hopefully by the time this comes out, actually posting content. And if I'm not, call me out, because I weeks.
Exciting. Ruben, where you at? Where can you be found?
I can be found at twitch.tv/theneoncaster every Thursday, I believe, from the top of my head, and maybe some other stuff. Yeah, no, it's just like a channel that I run. No, you can find me Blue Sky Urban Friend Den, mostly doing outfit shots and weird shit posts. But hey, if you want some of that, you're welcome.
Hell yeah, we want that. Absolutely.
Yeah, sounds like a good time.
I have been your androgynous android late night DJ Nathan Blades, tabletop RPG designer, streamer, voice actor, and general internet ne'er-do-well. If you've been enjoying this game, well, you can purchase this game with a really reasonable amount of money. You can buy Heartbeats in Perfect Sync for yourself at theneoncaster.itch.io, among various other tabletop RPGs I have written. Depending on when this launches, but also in general, I bring my zines with me, physical copies of these games, to conventions, so you can get a physical copy of Heartbeats in Perfect Sync this year at Thought Bubble and Dragon Con. That's an entirely different thing. Dragon Meet. I'm pretty sure Dragon Con is like a cosplay event in the US. You can find me at Thought Bubble and Dragon Meet this year with my various games in tow. I will also be wrapping my upcoming tabletop RPG that has just been arranged with publisher with 3 Sales Studios, the people that brought you Mappamundi, which you've also been checking on this channel. City of Espers is going to be a game that will be in a general crowdfunding next year, but is currently in production with them. So if you want to find out more about that, if you like the idea of the city having a personality and it having an effect on the world, you're going to fucking love City of Espers. So
hell yeah.
please do check us out. Also, please do check out more of Euphoria APs. If you are enjoying this this vibe of incredibly well told, incredibly well performed, and a wide range of tabletop RPGs that are not just the Dragon game, you can go and check out our socials below. We are available both on Twitch and YouTube and on as many socials as you can count. Please do give us a follow, and please do support the other fantastic productions that are available on this channel. And for now, we will say goodbye and see you again in the future. Farewell, listeners. Farewell.
Ah.
Bye.